Hello everybody, my name is Pixie People. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. And today we're going to continue What If, like usual. But again, I have to explain, I'm almost at 100 subscribers, so I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. You don't need to, just consider it. We continue our What If after Deku used Maharaga and defeated All For One permanently, killing his original body. Yes, Overhaul is still alive, and he's just in Shigaraki. So in this timeline, Shigaraki gets the quirks faster to the point where it's before the Endeavor arc. Okay, but of course we still have the Class 1A versus Class 1B arc. So Deku walks into the school and ready for the training. So Class 1A versus Class 1B happens. Everything that happens in the original happens here, and yeah. Then we get to Deku, and Deku uses his cancel quirk, his tiger, to roar everyone's quirks away, and then send out his wolf, and he runs with the wolf to fight people. So Shinso immediately gets bodied because, he can't use his quirk. The wolf man is fine because, it's a mutation, not an emitter. But the wolf and Deku take care of him, and the guy with the bubble quirk also gets decked and knocked out. Then that's Deku with 3 characters, and of course they just sweep through the rest. Deku's team wins. Following up on that, Deku talks to Bakugo on how they won pretty easily. No flukes. And Bakugo says pretty true. Oh, by the way, All Might still has One for All. It's not he can't use it. He can still use it now. So he's still a full-time hero. Anyways, after this, Deku and Bakugo are going home when they hear a giant crash near where Deku lives. So him and Bakugo run over there to see, almost to where his mom's house is, like a couple blocks over. The entire city just got disintegrated, and in the middle is Shigaraki with a hand on his face, just pure black though. Also, we see all of the League of Villains gear and stuff on the ground too, revealing that Shigaraki took their quirks and disintegrated all of them. Oh, also, Hawks was also in that pile, and so Shigaraki has bird wings, which, shows that Shigaraki is fully lost in this timeline and doesn't can take control. It's just All For One now. So this is a really strong Shigaraki, or All For One, doesn't matter. And since Deku and Bakugo are there, Shigaraki, All For One, I'm gonna just refer to him as All For One now. All For One looks over and cackles and zooms over to them. Until All Might and Endeavor show up to block the grab, and both All Might and Endeavor jump Shigaraki. Of course, Deku's helping by using his tiger roar thing. Yeah, so all of the heroes are kind of not ready for this thing, so Shigaraki does a lot more All For One does a lot more damage than he does in the original. And when all the heroes show up, he actually just takes out most of them. So, see that dragon lady? Yeah, she gets disintegrated. And when Deku tries to send out any of his monsters, they all just get murdered really quickly. So, All For One's really just killing everyone really quickly. And yes, Endeavor loses his arm again in this timeline, getting it torn off. But when he tries to go for the, incinerate All For One thing, he just black teleports away from it. You know, the black goop, he just teleports away from it. Which then that takes Endeavor out of the fight, because that was all of his energy. And then Rogue shows up to take over Endeavor's space. But of course he's not doing as well. All Might is taken out of battle with a gigantic gut check from Shigaraki, right to where his weak spot is, because All For One knows where it is. And that just completely makes all One For All disappear. And then when Shigaraki's about to grab One For All from All Might, after gut checking him aggressively, Bakugo runs in there with a howitzer, blowing All For One off, which enrages him, and All Might flies over into Deku, which Deku catches him with the elephant. With elephant's trunk. Then, yeah. And Bakugo tries to fight off Shigaraki, All For One, but gets his ass kicked severely. And yes, like he does in original, his heart starts beating and he dies. And Deku, seeing clearly he's gonna have to send out everything he got, but he thinks that Maharag is his last resort. So he sends out all of his beasts, which basically takes him out of the fight. But his animals are in the fight. And these animals, realizing that are gonna have him. So the animals know that if they die here, it's over. So the dog and the tiger team up with the dog protecting the tiger. The elephant and the ox then team up with the ox and the elephant smacking rocks towards Shigaraki, All For One, but he just smacks him away, of course. And since, he can't use decay, it's harder for him to do this. And then the bird and the snake show up to do their combo. It actually works this time because no decay. And then all of them, every single one of the things are about to get just mauled because we see Shigaraki's body just start dysmorphing, which is supposed to be a symbolism of Shigaraki fighting back. So then a buttload of limbs shoot out of All For One, and they all hit all of the animals. And before all the animals are about to lose, the deer, waiting, heals every single one of the creatures, so they're all back to full HP, and All For One then regains control. And when they see this, they realize that the animals realize that they're going to have to do a drastic measure, and so all of them rush into a portal, making it like a goopy, disgusting mess. And then the creature climbs. Then we see a giant fluffy hand fly out of the thing, slam onto the ground, claw the ground, pull itself out, revealing that creature that Sukuna summoned in the fight against Gojo. And then that creature just uses the roar of the tiger and the lightning of the bird and the flight of the bird and the claws of the dog to start hamming All For One's face in. But All For One's, of course, just fighting back. It's basically... Okay. So Shigaraki gut checks the creature, grabbing its beak and then pulling it in and punching it in the face. Of course, the roars still happen, so All For One knows it's trying to cancel out his decay quirk. Then All For One tries to shockwave it with its, his signature. The whole compiling quirks together and then shooting them out. So he shoots it out, and even sends out the bird feathers, like all of them, to like enhance the thing, because All for One can already fly. So when that attack's getting sent towards them, the bird just dodges it, and then summons a giant thundercloud, and then uses that thundercloud to power itself, and then slam into All for One, which actually does some severe damage to him, burning all of his body off. And once All for One gets hit by this, he, loses it and then smashes the ground. And this makes a buttload of Nomus pop out of the ground. Remember, this is where the doctor's lab was with all the Nomus. So the Nomus bust out of the ground and go to fight the lady, with the animal taking care of all of them with ease. With her tearing one in half, punching one in half, then lifting a boatload of boulders and smashing a boatload of them. And even becomes like a snake hybrid, has a snakes replace her legs. And so she uses the snake abilities, basically. And then that combines with the, I guess just the wolf's claws. And it slices up a buttload of them and whips a buttload of them. Then it de-transforms back into its original state and rushes All for One. Then All for One rushes it, and then they start clashing. Basically like Dragon Ball Z clashing. And they're basically breaking the ground below them. Sorry. And then actually looking like they're teleporting around, punching each other, clashing, making tiny and tinier craters. Eventually, All for One gets the upper hand, because of course he was going to get it eventually, touching the creature, because eventually its vocal cords quit itself. So the tiger ability stopped working. So All for One grabs the animal hybrid, and it starts to decay. When Deku starts to chant, "With this sacred treasure, I summon Divine General Maharaga," and then Maharaga pops out of the portal, speeding past Deku, not punching him this time, because remember, in this timeline, Maharaga is not a thing that needs to be tamed by beating the crap out of it. Then the Maharaga punches All for One / Shigaraki off. That's what I'm changing it to. And the animal hybrid, I guess that's what I'll call it, his body starts to decay from the chest, but it uses the deer again, because this is a whole new creature, not just the deer. So it's a different animal, so it can use the abilities again. And so Maharaga and the bird thing go to jump Shigaraki, but they don't have the luxury of the decay quirk. But luckily for Maharaga, he gets stuck by it pretty quickly, and he loses an arm, but he just now is adapted to it, so now he can not get hurt by it anymore. So when All for One tries to touch him, it doesn't work. So Maharaga uses this to his advantage and blocks all the damage from for the animal hybrid. And the animal hybrid uses all of its abilities to pin Shigaraki, so Maharaga can just unleash damage onto him. Because Maharaga is clearly stronger than her, and she can tell. Yes, the animal hybrid is she. And so we basically, Maharaga and the bird lady beat the shit out of Shigaraki All for One, and he's beaten them off as hard as he can. when he eventually whistles, and then that shows Gigantomachia bursting out of the ground, smashing towards them, which the Maharaga then just decides he'll take it out. So Maharaga rushes it, Gigantomachia, and then the All For One Shigaraki tries to touch the bird lady, the bird hybrid, and is about to kill it when Gigantomachia runs straight past Maharaga and smacks All For One right off onto the ground. And then we see Gigantomachia crying and yelling at All For One, how dare he leave her. Yes, Gigantomachia is a girl. That's what I think. I think in the show or in the manga, she referred to herself as a girl. It doesn't matter. So that just seals Shigaraki's fate, and Gigantomachia holds down All For One, but he decays her really quickly, and she dies. But that was enough time for Maharaga to, I don't know, also pin Shigaraki, All For One. He basically just puts his whole body weight into it, and since Shigaraki can't, All For One Shigaraki, doesn't matter, can't decay him, he just holds him down like a drop. But of course, All For One sends out all of his quirks, like all of them. Every single quirk he's thrown. But of course, Maharaga, being Maharaga, just tanks all of them and adapts. Except for one. Then All For One placing his hand right onto Maharaga, and then he just sends a whole shockwave through Maharaga, incinerating Maharaga's insides, killing Maharaga. And Maharaga's starting to turn to goop when we look into the sky, seeing a thundercloud show a giant beast slashing around it. And yeah, it's the hybrid. Then it shoots straight down like a lightning bolt, hitting All For One so hard to the point where All For One's body just starts disintegrating into dust. Like atomized, basically, type lightning strike. And we see Maharaga and the bird lady slowly turning to goop, because that took all of their energy. Oh, and Maharaga died, so... And we then look over to Deku, who is unconscious, has been unconscious this whole time, waking up finally after the animals have been absorbed into him. He looks around, not seeing All For One or Shigaraki, as far as he knows, and he's relieved and just goes back to sleep. And then we see like in a credit scene where Bakugo funeral happens. Yes, in this timeline, Bakugo stays dead, and this does take a toll on Deku, and he decides he's become the #1 hero. And of course, we see a time skip of him becoming the #1 hero. So Deku, fulfilling his self-prophecy that he would become the #1 hero just for Bakugo. And I guess that's where I'll end it. Hope you liked the extended fight of Shigaraki, and I mean, honestly, I'm sorry that I kept misnaming them. I kept saying Shigaraki All For One, Shigaraki All For One, like slashed together. It basically doesn't matter considering they're the same. Basically, just think of them as fused, I guess. But that's enough of me being illiterate. Let's wrap it up. Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on how you thought this what if came out, and see y'all later. Have a good day or good night. See ya.